Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have very interesting reveals here. We actually have two brand new cards revealed for the Quarter Century Duelist box. This is actually an OCG set. If you don't know, this is their yearly Christmas set. This is coming out December 23rd, like right at Christmas. And they've been doing this for the last 1 or 2 years prior to this year, where they just make out like a little side set. It's mostly reprints in the OCG, but there's a couple of interesting new cards and like bonus stuff like tokens and stuff like that to kind of entice the OCG players to buy it. If you remember, this would have been like the set slot, I think like a year or two ago, where Sky Striker Mobilized Linkage had been printed, as well as like some Mayakashi cards and I think something else. I can't remember what it was. So yeah, that's kind of what we have here. I'm guessing it's going to be a similar breakdown where it's only going to be a couple cards here, but you know, if it's 2 cards per archetype, and it looks like these are some fan favorite ones. It looks like we have like a Karibo hero card as well as a new Synchron support card. So fan favorite main character type cards. Very curious to see where they push with that, but let's just get into it. So, starting off here, we've got Wing Karibo level 6. Love the artwork on this guy. He's got like the Elemental Hero Flame Wingman costume on. This is really cool. This honestly fits almost more so to me for Halloween, right? Like, let's say he's dressed up as Wingman for Halloween. But it's level 6, which means he is a light fairy special summon effect monster. It's level 6, 300, 200 for the stats. This card is always treated as an elemental hero and favorite card, which is super interesting because the new form of elemental hero Flame Wingman that we got in the past year adds any card with any favorite card from deck to hand. So boom, gets searchable off of that. It's also an elemental hero card, so now it's just searchable off of emergency call, as well as any other card that just searches a hero or an elemental hero specifically. Pretty nice there. No complaints, honestly. That helps this card become super accessible in the deck for sure. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by banishing 1 elemental hero fusion monster or 1 Wing Karibo from your hand, face up field, or graveyard. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, or when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can tribute this card, destroy that monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Interesting. Okay, so I'm glad that it's not just on battle. The fact that it is monster effect on the field makes this card kind of like a pseudo Ghost Ogre, which is not too bad at all. I mean, it's possible this card could be nice just in general for certain, just as fusion material, but also the fact that if you just end on it, it is just like a Ghost Ogre-esque interruption, which is pretty cool. Does tribute itself, but this card can just keep coming back. I mean, as long as you're able to get E-Hero fusion monsters in grave, this card's able to just continually bring itself back turn after turn. So even in the grind, this card offers some value there. Kind of a shame that this card's a little bit too small. I mean, I guess that's probably why they put the attack thing, so people couldn't just go battle phase and walk over this thing. You could at least trade with them and force them to give up the resource. Not an amazing card by any means, but like a decently usable extender that also, gives you a potential extra interruption and, further down the line grindability as well. I think it's a decent card. It could potentially be an interesting one-of in the deck, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if hero players actually find a spot for this as an interesting one-of in the deck, for sure. But it's not overpowered. Okay, and the next card, I have not read this card at all. This is Shining Star Dragon. It obviously has a Crimson Dragon in the artwork, which is very interesting because that card's broken as hell. This is a Light Dragon Tuner, level 4 monster, 0/0, so it's a tuner, which is interesting. First effect is a hard one's return. During your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can target a dragon synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon this card, and if you do, special summon that target, but its effects are negated. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a dragon synchro monster using this card you control. Second effect, a dragon monster synchro summoned using this card as material cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay, so the second effect is obviously the icing on the cake effect, just gives a little battle protection, but I'm guessing most of the time you're summoning something pretty big off of this, because it appears to me that this card wants to set you up for a level 12 synchro into a dragon, right? I don't know off the top of my head the best ones. I'd have to go through and look at them and really eyeball stuff, but generally that's like the most common thing, right, is to just throw level 8 dragon synchros into the grave, whether you're making use of like Red Dragon Archfiend in that deck, or I kind of like this card does have some potential versatility in the sense that like I believe like you could go through like Excel Stardust Synchro Dragon to get him engraved like as you're link climbing, and then boom, that's an extra way to make a quick 12 on the opponent's turn, as well as like obviously RDA in that deck, or even if you just end on a level 8 synchro, right? Like Crystal Wing Dragon, or if to make Crystal Wing you had to use like a level 6, that opens you up to make a quick level 10 dragon. There's definitely some really cool synergy here. I like that it has a couple different decks it can work from. I like that it just is straight up a hand trap in hand, but you do have to obviously set it up. It does have to summon the synchro monster, so you can't just dump one. You do have to correctly summon it so that it'd be a live target to summon, and then you just have to make sure the levels work out. But I could see a world where like almost to make your board more versatile and harder to beat in certain synchro decks, where you don't want to just end, like we've seen this kind of problem with like decks like Manadium, where if you end on a board with just like 3 or 4 big synchros, if your opponent just draws Dark Ruler, you can kind of be in trouble. Now I know they have their counter trap as well, so that might not be the best example, but that's what a lot of synchro decks do. So being able to like end with this card in hand, that way, it's an extra layer of interruption in the hand. This is one of the things we talked about with Tier. What made Tier so good is it was hard for any one card or deck to counter, because they would have like Haveness in hand, interruptions on field, Shufflers engraved. They would just have interactions and like in stuff in the back row too. Like they would have like layered interruptions. So I could see something where like maybe a deck plays a 1 of this card because it's easy to kind of end on it. You search it through your combo, you end with it in hand, and while you were synchro climbing, you put the right level engrave anyway so that you could fire this card. So that could be something as well. I think it's kind of cool, honestly. I think both of these cards are really interesting. I think they're actually kind of well designed, low key. Neither of them are broken, but I think they're interesting enough for a set like this. It's not supposed to be like a super high impact set, obviously, because there's only a couple of new cards in it, but it's like one of those things that like if you're a fan of Heroes, even if you're not sure if you're going to play it, you probably just pick this up because you're just like, yeah, I could see myself maybe trying to find room for this, or testing it out at least. And same thing with Shining Star Dragon if you're on one of those like synchro decks. Same thing. So pretty cool, honestly. Other than that, they revealed a bunch of new tokens as well. Yugi and Kaiba, Jaden and Yubel. Oh, sorry, by a bunch I meant 2. Then they revealed a bunch of reprints, but they're just reprints, so nothing too crazy there to look at. Pretty interesting. I'm very curious to see what other new cards we could get. I wonder if we'll get 2 hero cards, because like back when we got the Sky Striker one, we got 2 Strikers, 2 Mayakashi, and 2 of whatever the other archetype was. So is there going to be another archetype represented here, or 2? Are there going to be 2 cards for each one, and they're just doing 1 right now because we're still, over 2 months away from this even coming out in the TCG or in the OCG? I'm very curious, but I don't play any of these decks specifically, so please let me know in the comment section down below if you're a hero player or a player of synchro decks, any deck that you think like could make use of this card specifically. Please let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this card. One gripe that I didn't mention with this card, it's pretty bad going second, right? Because it only fires during the opponent's main phase, which is kind of a bummer, but I don't know, there may be ways to mitigate that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on these cards. Good? No? Love to hear it. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. Actually a break from Phantom Nightmare reveals tonight. I would guess we're still going to get some tomorrow. So I will keep you posted on any new stuff that drops there. Very excited to see how that set rounds out. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.